Hi all, Ural is running too hot, so here we are doing some testing with the official Ural Diagnostic Tool.
I'm going out to get some AFR readings, so I've got a baseline to work from when I put the new exhaust on and do whatever mods I want to make. Other mods I might want to make. Cockroach. At the moment I got 14.2 to 1 on the AFR, so we'll see what we get when I get further down.
These are some live screen readings, starting off at 0 and then moving through idle and warm up, indicating to you which parts of the screens we're going to be looking at.
$14.5, dropping back to 14.2 as I pull up the lights, heading downhill into Torquay. Lots of green. I might see some acceleration here.
What I'm looking for here is a correlation between the air-fuel ratio, the spark advance, revs per minute, the throttle position for the sensor, and the cylinder head temperature. All of those work together to determine what the AFR should be delivering based on the internal map that's in there. Now, long story short, there are basically two maps. There's an open loop map and there is a closed loop map. The closed loop map takes notice of the O2 sensors. That's the emissions control side of things. The open loop map you will only ever see on startup, where it provides a rich mixture, and when you are approaching wide open throttle positions. The purpose of this exercise is to determine exactly when this transition occurs between the closed circuit map or the closed loop map and the open loop map. I think that's a root cause of why we're getting overheating. My theory is that the closed loop map, whilst it can be considered an overlay of the open loop map, the closed loop map never ever provides a rich mixture during high load, slow speed running. It always clings to a very lean AFR, and basically the lack of cool fuel running across the cylinder head during those low speed runs can cause enormous damage, pinging and so on. So I'm trying to rationalise when it all happens and what we can do about it. We'll see.
Air temperature's 25, engine temperature's 109. Throttle percent was only about a 7% then. So I'm going out here where I can get some more real-time stuff.
I think what I'll do is, rather than bore you with all this on-road stuff, because it's not really telling you much, except for the fact that I noticed when the throttle position approaches just past the 50% position, the air-fuel ratio begins to richen up. The closer you get to wide open throttle, the richer it gets, which kind of supports my assertion that low speed second gear running around, where you're never ever going to get a wide open throttle, is the culprit. Anyhow, I might just duck ahead to the dirt road that I eventually get onto, where the evidence is pretty clear. It's a dirt road, horrendously corrugated, straight, not climbing very much, but you'll see a change in the engine temperature of something like 30 degrees. It goes from 130 degrees, if I remember, to a peak of 166 in less than 13 minutes. Cheers.
AFR 14.2, throttle percent 5.9, RPM 3183, engine temperature 137. The true ambient today is only about 20, if that, at present, so I'm not going to expect crazy overheating conditions.
First gear at nearly 5,000 revs is doing nothing to change the AFR. It's no point sitting in first at 5,000 revs in the hope that the AFR is going to change. It just won't happen. Okay, we just made it onto the dirt road. I'm still only in first gear, running at about 4,000 RPM. You'll notice that the throttle position is only on about 17%. Any faster and the corrugations are going to shake the heck out of you. And the AFR hasn't moved from about 14.2. So the low throttle position, spark advance is 25. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but there it is.
Get back onto the dirty bits, second gear now.
Let's see what happens later on.
10%, slow it down even more. If my phone doesn't jump off, which sometimes it does, I'm back off even more. This is horrendous. Okay. So the AFR is 14.2 and I'm doing 2,500 revs, 2,300, 2,500. The phone's shaking around at the shit house. Throttle percent's about 5. Dribbling along, 144 degrees we're up to now. My mirror has given up the ghost. It's decided to have a rest. Got to get over here a bit now. About 3%, 4%, no, make it 5%, 6%. As I get a bit of half-recent road, it tends to go up a bit. AFR still 14.2, Jesus. Yes, I can just guess at the throttle position now because it's shaking around too much. Not more than 10 and closer to between 5 and 10. Engine temperature 149. Bit of smooth road. Oh well. Okay, a little bit of smooth road. Engine temperature 151. AFR still at 14.2.
Corrugations, I have to say, are the limiting factor here. It is just not possible to go any faster with a Ural on these corrugations than perhaps first or second gear, and then your throttle position is limited to between 5 and 15% until you get to about 50%, and that's when it starts to kick in and you'll get slightly leaner. But in order to get to a 50% plus position on the throttle, you've got to be going a heck of a lot faster than we are here, and that's just not feasible. Not in my opinion anyway. As you can witness for yourselves, this road, for want of a better word, is quite badly maintained.
Throttle percentage about 653. Engine temperature, I haven't thrown an engine light yet, anyhow, and I'm doing about 30k now, which I don't think I've mentioned before, but anyway.
Incidentally, the engine light is configured to come on at around 170, 175 degrees. That's the Ural cylinder head temperature gauge.
Over there a bit, but it's just as bad. There's nowhere that's clean.
Imagine doing this for an hour or more. It's not unreasonable to accept that with an additional load, say a pillion passenger and some gear, and chortling along like this for an hour or so, your engine light's going to come on and you're going to start hearing pinging and all sorts of ugly noises, in my opinion. I think especially on steep inclines, you're more than likely going to make things even worse. I don't know what the answer is, not just yet anyhow, but I should say at this time we need to be thinking about the closed loop system with the O2 sensors being, or should I say, telling the ECU what AFR to run during these slow exercises. Slow running.
AFR dropped 12 pretty quickly.
The closed loop system is where the O2 sensors are very active, telling the ECU whether to lean or richen the mixture, and it's a constant process which doesn't happen when the open loop is functioning. It is only during the closed loop that the O2 sensors are doing this juggling act to try and get mixtures right. But whatever the settings are in the ECU to allow the O2 sensors to behave this way at low revs is seriously problematic. But anyway, folks, that's my 2 cents worth. Thanks for watching. Suggestions greatly welcomed. Bye-bye.